In the quiet, close-knit town of Ilorin, two best friends, Amina and Fatima, were known for their inseparable bond. Their friendship had blossomed from early childhood. Growing up side by side, they had attended the same primary and secondary schools, and when the time came for university, they chose to stay together. Amina had a keen mind for media and studied mass communication, while Fatima had always been fascinated by science and chose biochemistry. After graduation, both friends were posted to Iowa State for the compulsory National Youth Service Corps. It was an exciting new chapter in their lives, and they looked forward to experiencing the Northern culture together. However, in Jigawa, life had a different plan for them. While Amina focused on her duties, she found herself crossing paths with Adamu, the son of a prominent Northern businessman, Alhaji Usman. Adamu, who had recently taken over parts of his father's empire, was handsome, intelligent, and deeply rooted in his culture. He was kind and had a heart that instantly connected with Amina's. Their friendship blossomed, and Adamu often invited Amina to join his family for meals, introducing her to Northern traditions. As their bond deepened, so did the feelings they held for one another, and soon they became inseparable. Fatima, however, felt increasingly isolated and could barely hide her jealousy. She had always thought that their friendship was unbreakable and struggled to accept that Amina's life was moving in a different direction. One evening, unable to hold in her emotions, Fatima approached Amina after their day's work was done. They sat in their small, shared apartment, a place that had always been a haven of laughter and companionship. But now, a palpable tension lingered between them. Fatima began, trying to sound calm, but unable to mask the hurt in her voice. "I can hardly remember the last time we spent real time together. All you do now is see Adamu, and it's like, I don't even exist." Amina looked at her friend with a mix of sympathy and confusion. "Fatima, I know things have changed, and I'm sorry if I've made you feel left out. But Adamu and we're building something special. I care about him deeply, and who knows, this might even lead to marriage someday." Fatima forced a smile, but inside resentment was bubbling up. She felt as if her place in Amina's life was being taken away, and while she tried to brush off the feeling, the seed of jealousy had been planted. 6 months into their courtship, Adamu decided he was ready to take things to the next level. In a quiet, private moment beneath the stars, he proposed to Amina, vowing to care for her and make her his partner for life. Overwhelmed with joy, Amina accepted, her heart full of love and excitement. The following day, Amina called Fatima to share the wonderful news. "Fatima, you won't believe it. Adamu proposed last night." Her voice was filled with excitement, and she could hardly contain her joy. Fatima tried to sound enthusiastic, but her voice wavered. "Are you sure his family will accept you, Amina? Adamu's family is wealthy and influential. They might not take kindly to him marrying someone from our background." Amina brushed off the comment with a laugh. "Adamu's family is nothing like that. Fatima, they're warm, and they've already accepted me. I'm meeting them soon to make it official. They're even arranging the entire wedding. And can you believe it? Our honeymoon will be in Paris." While Amina's excitement was genuine, Fatima struggled to mask her own feelings. She was both envious of Amina's newfound happiness and bitter at the prospect of losing her best friend to this new life. She secretly hoped the family would reject Amina, but her wish went unfulfilled. Instead, Amina returned the next day, her eyes shining with happiness. Adamu's family had welcomed her with open arms, and everything was set for the wedding. The wedding day finally arrived, and it was a lavish celebration that brought together dignitaries, friends, and family from all over the country. Adamu's family spared no expense in ensuring the wedding was nothing short of magnificent. Amina wore an elegant, intricately embroidered gown, and her face glowed with happiness as she prepared to join her life with Adamu's. Fatima, as her maid of honor, wore a stunning blue gown that complemented the colors of the wedding party. She helped organize every detail, and even Adamu's mother, Haja Zainab, took note of Fatima's dedication. But as Fatima stood by her friend, watching her exchange vows under the soft glow of the ceremony lights, she couldn't help but feel the dark pangs of envy intensify. She felt robbed of the life she had once imagined for herself, and her heart filled with bitterness. After the wedding, life seemed perfect for Amina and Adamu. They traveled to Paris, where they shared a romantic honeymoon filled with memories and dreams for the future. Fatima, meanwhile, spiraled into despair. Every photo that Amina sent, every joyful message, only reminded her of the life she felt she deserved. Her bitterness grew with each passing day, until it became a constant, gnawing pain in her chest. Eventually, the resentment became too much to bear, and in a moment of desperation, she attempted to take her own life. When Amina received the news, she was devastated. She rushed to the hospital, her heart breaking at the sight of her best friend lying weak and pale. Kneeling by her side, Amina held Fatima's hand, tears streaming down her face. "Why, Fatima?" Amina sobbed. "Why would you do this? Why didn't you tell me you were hurting?" Fatima looked away, shame and anger mixing in her eyes. "You were too busy with your new life to notice, Amina. I felt abandoned." Amina's heart ached with guilt. She promised to be more present, vowing never to let her friend feel isolated again. She even convinced Adamu to let Fatima move in with them for a while, hoping it would help her friend heal, despite Adamu's initial reluctance. In the weeks that followed, Fatima settled into Amina and Adamu's home, seemingly grateful for their kindness. She helped around the house, cooking and cleaning, and Adamu appreciated having someone so attentive around. But as days turned into weeks, Fatima's true intentions began to surface. The feelings she held for Adamu were not merely platonic, and her envy for Amina's happiness twisted her desires. One afternoon, while Amina was visiting her family, Fatima prepared a special lunch for Adamu. She brought him a plate of steaming tuwo shinkafa with a rich miyan tashi stew, along with a refreshing glass of kunu to wash it down. "Thank you, Fatima," Adamu said, smiling appreciatively. "You've been such a help around here." Fatima's heart raced as she sat across from him, watching his every move with a silent yearning. Over time, she began to imagine herself as the lady of the house, picturing a life where she was the one by Adamu's side. Her envy grew, fueling a sinister determination to take over Amina's place. Not long after, Amina began to experience mysterious symptoms. She grew weaker by the day, her vibrant spirit fading. Despite frequent visits to the doctor, no diagnosis was found. Amina's health continued to deteriorate, leaving Adamu distraught and turning to Fatima for support. Fatima took advantage of the situation, reassuring Adamu and staying by his side. She would often take over caring for Amina, all the while nurturing her own dark ambitions. Amina's son, little Yusuf, noticed the changes in their home. Once warm and full of laughter, the atmosphere had become tense and filled with whispers. He sensed that Fatima's care was anything but genuine. One morning, when he asked her for breakfast, she responded with a sneer. "I'm not here to pamper you like your mother did, Yusuf," she said coldly. Confused and hurt, Yusuf stayed silent, enduring her harsh treatment while his mother's health continued to fade. One night, with Amina weakened and bedridden, Fatima came to Adamu's bedroom door, claiming she'd had a nightmare. She feigned tears, hoping to gain his sympathy. Adamu, vulnerable and emotionally drained, invited her in to comfort her. In that moment of weakness, boundaries were crossed, and the two shared a night that both would come to regret. The next morning, Adamu was consumed with guilt, but Fatima reassured him that it was a natural consequence of their grief. As the weeks went on, their affair continued in secret, with Fatima slowly taking over more duties in the household, even moving into the master bedroom under the pretense of assisting Adamu. When Amina finally passed away, Adamu was left shattered. Fatima continued to comfort him, and in a twisted triumph, she moved into Amina's role officially. However, as she settled into her new life, she began to experience strange occurrences in the house. Shadows seemed to follow her, and whispers filled the empty rooms at night. One night, she awoke to find herself covered in a strange rash, her skin burning and her body racked with pain. Soon after, Fatima fell gravely ill. She felt her energy drain away, just as Amina had before her. Consumed by terror, she confessed everything to Adamu, begging for forgiveness. But as she lay on her sickbed, she could feel Amina's spirit hovering nearby, watching with a cold satisfaction. In her final moments, Fatima's cries echoed through the house. Her envy, once so fierce, had consumed her in the end, leaving behind only shadows and the memory of a friendship destroyed by jealousy.